Let's make a batch of my cheesy garlic sourdough scones. You guys, these are so simple. They take 30 minutes or less. They are a delicious side with dinner. They are cheesy, garlicky, and so good. I can't wait for you to try these. As always, the recipe is going to be linked in the caption below. So first up, we are going to grate our butter, and you are going to want to use frozen butter. This is the key to making a flaky, delicious scone. Frozen butter. Now, if you aren't making anything, you're just watching along, go put some butter into your freezer right now. That way, when the time comes, you don't have to wait for frozen butter. You can just pull frozen butter directly out of your freezer. And if you do not have one of these cheese graters yet, these rotary cheese graters, you have to get one. I buy so many little kitchen gadgets, and I don't use most of them, but this cheese grater I use almost daily. It works so well for grating butter and cheese and vegetables, all sorts of things. I'm gonna link it down below. Now we're gonna grate a whole stick of butter. And again, we want this to be frozen. Cold ingredients. All of our ingredients, we want them to be cold. Use my little. I'm telling you, you can use a normal cheese grater, but this thing is so fast and easy. So what we're going to do is toss this butter into our dry mixture. So we're gonna add our 2 cups of flour along with our salt, baking powder, and baking soda. Give it a little mix. And then we're going to toss in our butter. And you really don't even need to do much here. You're just going to coat the butter with the flour. Just kind of fluffing it together. Since it's already been shredded, we don't have to like break it into little pieces or anything. Like the shredding already did that for us. Okay, another thing with scones. We do not want to overtouch these things. We want to keep everything cold. Our hands are warm. So the more we touch it, the more the butter is gonna melt, which isn't going to lead to the result that we want. Okay, now we're gonna mix our wet ingredients together. So in this bowl, we are gonna mix our cold milk. I use whole milk. Sourdough discard straight from the fridge. I'm using 120 grams. That's what I love about this recipe too, because everything is coming straight from the fridge. You don't even have to worry about bringing anything to room temperature. It's just so simple. Gonna add in our egg, again, straight from the fridge. And we're gonna give this a mix. Now sometimes, depending on the consistency of your sourdough discard, if it is a little bit thicker, it can be a little bit harder to break up. It's fine, just do your best. Just whisk it together. Sometimes my discard is really runny, and if it's been more recent that it's been fed, it's going to be thicker, and that's fine. Now, if you don't have any sourdough discard on hand, you can also use active sourdough starter. And if your ingredients aren't all cold, another trick that you can do instead of baking these right away is you can wrap them up in plastic wrap and then put them in the fridge for at least 30 minutes and then bake them. This will help prevent any spreading so they bake up nice and tall. But as long as you're using cold ingredients, it's not a big deal. Okay, we're getting closer because my discard was so thick, it just takes a little bit extra. We're also going to grate our cheeses, and I highly recommend using freshly shredded cheeses. So we're going to do our mozzarella. We need 150 grams of this. So we're just gonna take our grater. We don't even have to wash it. It just has the butter in it, so. Okay, lock it in place, and then just divide this into sections. You know what? I'm gonna make my life even easier. So I know I need 150 grams of mozzarella. So I am just going to tare my scale right now with my bowl so I know how much my bowl weighs. That way I can check and see if I'm hitting 150 grams. Okay, let's see how much that is. Okay, that's way more than we needed. That's 225 grams. So I'll just put my leftovers in a bag here. Now we need to do our Parmesan. And for the Parmesan, we're just doing 50 grams. Okay, and you know what I'm gonna do to make my life even easier? I'm going to weigh this before I put it in through the grater, and then I already know I have 50 grams. What do you know? 51 grams. I am good. Okay, let's grate it. Okay, I'm telling you, I hope I convinced you today to get one of these. And with scones, since we want this to stay cold, we need to work quickly. Okay, so we're gonna add all of our cheeses here. Oh, I forgot about my minced garlic and my parsley, so let's chop that real quick. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley. So I'm just going to chop this up. Honestly, that looks like it's about 2 tablespoons here. You can measure it, but it really won't make that big of a difference if it's a little different. Okay, and then we need to do our garlic. Garlic is so annoying to me. I hate the like paper. It's so flaky and gets everywhere. I love the flavor of garlic. I just don't like preparing it. Okay, give it a good chop. Yeah, that looks, honestly, that might even be closer to a tablespoon. We're measuring with the heart, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna add all of that in. I'm gonna add my cold, wet ingredients. Now I'm gonna give this a mix. And at first you're gonna think, this needs more liquid. I know you're gonna say it. Everyone says it when they start making scones. Even I'm questioning myself. I'm like, wait, what? This seems like it's not enough. But I promise it's gonna come together. We're just gonna keep mixing it, okay? It will work, I promise. Okay, so I get it to about here. Obviously we're not done, but I am going to flip this onto my counter now. And I know, it looks like a lot of extra flour. Okay, my hands are so dry right now. I need to get gloves on. Okay, now we are just going to bring it together and press. Bring it together, press. Now sometimes, like because my discard was so thick, this might need maybe just a teensy bit more liquid. And you can kind of decide that as you're going. If it seems like, man, that flour just will not incorporate, then you can add a little bit more. I find when my discard is thinner, it does incorporate well without having to add any more. Actually, this is coming together, so you know what? I don't think I'm going to need to. But if you run into that situation where it's like, man, this just will not come together, no problem. Just add like a teaspoon of milk at a time until it does come together. Now what we're gonna do is just flatten this out into a round circle, about 8 to 10 inches. It's kind of like you're doing CPR, but on your scones. Stay alive. Something like that. I don't know, my husband's a doctor, not me. There we go. And then we'll just kind of bring it together to make it round. Voila. And see how you can like, it looks flaky. It's what we want. All right, now I'm gonna take a bench scraper. If you don't have a bench scraper, just use a knife. And we're just gonna divide this into 8. So I do it once across, once down the side, and then each of those in half. And sometimes they're even and sometimes they're not. Okay, this is the part where if you were using warm ingredients, you would want to put it in the fridge. Okay, here we go. So I am just going to pick these up and then I'm going to place them onto my pan. Okay. And the bottom. Okay, here we have it. Okay, now we're gonna bake these at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 13 to 14 minutes until they're lightly golden brown on top. While those are in the oven, we are going to make our little garlic butter that's gonna go on top. That is so delicious. Okay, I'm just gonna use this bowl that I had shredded my butter and cheese into because I don't like to have to do more dishes than are necessary. This garlic butter is so simple. We are just going to do 4 tablespoons of butter. Melt this in the microwave. 20, 30 seconds, probably like 20, we'll see. I'm gonna chop up a little bit more parsley. If we're gonna buy a big thing of parsley, we might as well use it, right? It's gonna make it look all fancy with a little garnish on top. Oh, also I was gonna say, if you don't have fresh parsley, you could always use dried. It's fine. No stress. Okay, it's not fully melted, but like by the time I mix everything, it'll melt. Okay, I threw in my parsley. However much you want. I say about a tablespoon in the recipe. Okay, and then this part, I don't use fresh garlic just because it's not cooked. So I just use garlic powder, and I'm just gonna use a teaspoon of garlic powder in this. Now, if you wanted to use fresh garlic again, you could mince up your garlic really well, and then you could microwave it with your butter when you're melting it, and that will help soften it up a little bit. Okay, all I can find is my ugly green teaspoon, so just pretend this is aesthetically pleasing. Don't have a spoon over here, so we're just gonna mix it up with the teaspoon. Like I said, less dishes, the better. Done. Thought that was a piece of cheese. It was garlic. Ugh. Well, I will be fending off the vampires for a very long time now. Oh my gosh, just look how perfect these are. Just look, these are so soft. They're so light and fluffy, cheesy. And now we are going to add the garlic butter on top. And you know what? I'm actually gonna add a little bit of salt to this mixture. I didn't think about that. Just a pinch. Now you can always taste test, and if you feel like it doesn't need salt, don't do that, but I'm always pro adding more salt. Okay, now we are just going to brush this on top. And it is so good with more garlicky butter on top. I can't even get over how yummy these are. We love having these with pasta nights. Also, they make like a great appetizer, like over the Super Bowl, or just like any type of game or activity, a game night, if you want something a little bit more savory. They're great for like your kids after school. I think I went a little heavy on the parsley. Oops. That's what I get for not measuring. Ooh, and a little cheese bowl. They're so soft, fluffy, light, delicate. Okay, the real taste test. Yeah, perfection. You have to make these. Oof, yeah, so good. Can I have another bite? So good.